Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh, and the government has a very ambitious plan as far as the vaccination goes because they realize that this is the only way you can cut the cycle as far as COVID management goes. But there are problems ahead. There are more players who are likely to come into the field. All of that we are going to point out to you in a short while from now. And of course, there's been politics over the vaccination drive. That's going to be a focus over the next half hour. Now, after government assured production of 216 crore doses of COVID vaccines between August to December, CNN News 18 has got an exclusive access to the centre's vaccination game plan, making 216 crore vaccine doses available by the end of this year. Now, this report suggests that Covishield and Covaxin, India's indigenous vaccines, will produce over 77 crore and 65 crore doses respectively by the end of December. The rest of the stock will be made up by other vaccines, including the foreign jabs. Now, according to a month-wise distribution plan, the centre aims to make 8.8 crore doses available this month itself, 10 crore doses in June, which slowly increases to 65 crore doses in December. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a key meeting over COVID and the vaccination situation earlier today.
जुलाई 31 तक देश को 51.6 करोड़ डोजेज जो है ये उपलब्ध हो जाएंगी और उसमें से 18 करोड़ डोजेज हम अभी ऑलरेडी लगा चुके हैं। जो भारत में अगस्त से लेकर और दिसंबर एंड तक जो हम लोगों ने एक मॉडेस्ट कैलकुलेशन किया है, उसके हिसाब से अगस्त से दिसंबर के पीरियड में इन वैक्सीन की 2 बिलियन से ज़्यादा डोजेज और रफली जो कैलकुलेशन में मॉडेस्ट साइड पे भी 216 करोड़ डोजेज इन वैक्सीन्स की जो है अगले अगस्त से लेकर दिसंबर के महीने में देश के अंदर उपलब्ध होने वाली हैं।
Okay, now even if we have enough doses to inoculate everyone, how daunting is the task? Let's take a quick look at this, which are the challenges ahead, despite the fact that the government says that they're going to have soon enough doses. Now, first of all, there is going to be a price difference between the vaccines, and that's going to be a huge challenge. Sputnik V, for example, has been priced at 995 rupees per vial. There's also a problem of unavailability of vaccine infrastructure in smaller towns, especially in rural areas as well. There's also a shortage of trained medical professionals who would be able to administer the vaccines. That's another challenge before the government. The robust system is needed for storing and transportation of these vaccines. Remember, each of the vaccines we're talking about, Covishield, Covaxin, have different yardstick on how to store and transport them. There's another problem of internet speed, which might slow down the process in rural areas. The whole idea of a COVID app is something which has given rise to a lot of controversy, that not everyone may be tech savvy, and especially in rural areas, everyone doesn't have access to an internet or a Wi-Fi. We're going to go across to our entire panel of guests this evening. We're going to talk about the politics over vaccines and also to our experts, the medical experts, on whether it's actually going to work, these ambitious plans. So this evening we are being joined by the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Gopal K. Agarwal. There is Dr. Ajoy Kumar, who is joining us, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Dr. Neeraj Sandhuja, senior consultant, Fortis Hospital in Gurugram, and Dr. Arijit Mohapatra, director, Jagannath Hospital in Bhubaneswar. I'm going to go across to the medical experts first. You know, Dr. Neeraj Sandhuja, you've got a sense of the kind of plan which the government has. We want to vaccinate it. But there are not just going to be teething problems. Do you think the fact that we don't have a very strong or a robust infrastructure on the ground could actually slow down the entire process of a mass vaccination program?
See, I think whatever government is planning in a good way, and we need to build up our systems. And whatever you have pointed out, like robusting our infrastructure, providing vaccination to our rural areas, I think all those things have to be looked into along with the manufacturing of more and more dosages, and also importing from big manufacturer from abroad, so that whatever goal we are having of giving 200 crore vaccination by end of this year should be fulfilled. But we have to look into the logistics to build up our infrastructure in terms of manpower, availability of vaccination to the rural areas, and making people aware about the vaccination also, because some people are still afraid of taking the vaccination.
I was just going to come to that point, and that's where I want to go across to Dr. Ajit Mahapatra. There are two problems over here. First, we've been showing a series of reports, and we also meet many people who are scared to take that vaccine, and it's not just rural areas, it's also in urban areas where they feel that there are going to be very serious side effects, or when reports are coming in that you're getting COVID despite the vaccine, so they're saying that what's the point of taking it? That's going to be one problem. How do you convince them? The second issue is, for example, a COVID app. Now, how many people, for example, in smaller towns or in villages are that tech savvy that they independently can actually go into or download that app, go into that app and fix up an appointment for themselves?
Yeah, good evening, Pallavi. Let me tell you one thing before I answer, that life of one human being has much more value than wealth of the whole world. So having said that, to a first question about vaccine hesitancy, people are fearful about taking the vaccine, about concerned about its side effects and whatever may happen wrong otherwise. But over the months, since 16th of January, when India started its mass vaccination program, we have hardly seen any serious adverse effects, or the AEFIs, the adverse effects following immunization, had been rarely observed. Apart from minor complications like some amount of fever, local pain, nothing serious really has happened. And if you see over last 1 month, things are changing rapidly. People are coming forward to take the vaccination, which was not happening during the first 2 months of starting the vaccination. And people are coming and people are realizing that yes, vaccine, I need the vaccine and vaccine will protect. The thing you told that you can get COVID in spite of getting vaccines. Yes, that is there. Nothing in world is 100% foolproof protective. There could be some breakthroughs, but mind it, those people who have taken the vaccine, they will have a milder disease, shorter course, and they will come out quickly. And it almost the scientific data as on date says that you will not be severely affected, you will not be most likely hospitalized, and most likely you will not die also. So that is the scientific data which is saying. So that is more so the reason, these are the robust reason why one should take the vaccine. And I hope people are understanding that now over last 1 month, that's why they are coming forward for the vaccines.
Okay, so now let's go into
the first phase about the questions. Sorry, can you please repeat me the second phase of the question?
I'll just come back to you on that. I'm just going to come back to you on that because I'm just going to dwell into the politics of it, because how can politics be far behind on any important issue? Now, Mr. Gopal Agarwal, even today Rahul Gandhi has said that there's likely to be a third wave because you've got your vaccination program all wrong. So now here are the two criticisms which are coming in for the vaccination program. One, first you go and give your vaccines to other countries, even if it's as a gift or a bhaichara or diplomacy, not factoring the fact that at some point of time we have to go in for a mass vaccination program, and therefore you're seeing that shortage. Many places have had to abandon their vaccination programs, 18 plus especially. Did you need to do that? That's one. Second, we've had vaccination programs or immunization programs earlier too. For example, the polio. You didn't have to go into an app next. I know we are getting more and more tech savvy, but not everyone in India is. Did we need to have that app? Couldn't another alternative be thought of?
Pallavi, there are two issues that we have to tackle here. One thing is why we exported around 6.5 crore of vaccine. Which has been very amply clarified by BJP releases and government releases also, that out of that only 1.4 crore was under the vaccine Maitri, which was donated to some of the neighboring countries, and that is also important for part of the vaccination endemic fight, because we need to have some control and about the nearby countries, and that is mostly our countries, neighboring countries only. Second, the balance about 5 crore vaccines has been because of our commercial commitment and the commitment of the global cooperation, which under WTO and other global countries had taken up for the vaccine development program. So that was all. Both are important part of the vaccine strategy. One thing. The second important part is about the CoWIN app. The thing is that suddenly there is a big rush of demand because of the second wave and severity. Earlier, people were not even coming. We were at one point of time vaccinating 50 lakh people a day, but later on, people started diminishing and not coming. It was some part of politics of the opposition also. They created misconception and created a bad narration about the vaccination, whatever may be. But the people were not coming forward as the government was preparing. Now, because of the second wave suddenly and the new found problem that it is impacting the young population also. Earlier, government was planning to first vaccinate all the 45 plus age people, and now government thought it necessary that we need to open it for 18 plus to 44 also. So therefore, there was sudden rush, and the vaccination program is always in a phased manner. You have to depend upon the supply side. There is a constraint.
Yeah,
on
so
the
that's
supply
exactly
side,
my point. That's
yeah.
exactly my point. When you want to, you know, when you went in for the vaccination program, the whole mantra of it was that everyone should come forward and get vaccinated. So obviously, you would have factored in the fact that at some point of time, people would want to actually overcome this vaccine hesitancy and go in for their vaccination. Second is that phased manner means that you need more and more vaccines available to you. Today, we are in a situation where we don't want. We don't have, because people want to go and get vaccinated. I'm just going to get a reaction for you on that, but I want to go to Dr. Ajay Kumar. Your response to what Mr. Gopal Agarwal had to say, that the Congress party and opposition parties are also responsible for the situation that we are facing as far as vaccine is concerned today. You agree with that?
Look, Pallavi, I mean, it's the world's most mismanaged COVID response, and history will not forgive us, and I don't think any Indian should ever forget the way this government has let its citizens down. And I'll tell you a couple of facts which are very disturbing. You remember last year we were banging plates and we were lighting lights and we were throwing petals. When we were doing all this, the United States was investing $12 billion in pharma companies to develop vaccine. The European Union invested $250 million in AstraZeneca. The Russians invested $125 million in the Gamaleya Institute. The Chinese invested in a German company over $130 million, Pfizer BioNTech, in BioNTech for the vaccine. And we were continuing to bang plates and put on lights and do all this very, crazy stuff. Then the government of India doesn't place any orders on the Serum Institute. It places orders its order in Jan and then now. Now, right now also, there is an RTI application, Pallavi ji, which says that the government out of the 35,000 crores has spent only 4,500 crores. So this is a government which is bent on, harassing its own people. There is no words to describe this. It has come to a situation where the municipal corporations are doing global tenders. How do you explain this? And the DCGI today says that, by the way, you can't take Pfizer and you can't take Johnson & Johnson and you can't take Moderna because we haven't approved it. Now, India is becoming a laughing stock that we first of all doing a state-wise global tender for vaccine. This is the government of India has abdicated. It's a government which has been missing. I've been saying it repeatedly in different forums. The Delhi police should investigate where is the missing home minister and where is the missing BJP MPs and where is the missing government. Because the issue today is that the government is actually missing. And the last point which I'll tell you is on the CoWIN app. You tell me and you and Mr. Gopal Agarwal also, and all of us, every day we need at least 100 people in our touch points who cannot get into that app and register, each one of us. majority of the people in the rural India will not be able to do, the majority of the people in the slum area will not be able to do, the majority of the poor will not be able to do it. And the app is so bad that they have developed an app for an app so that you can quickly get an appointment, because the app will not inform you. I don't know if you heard Mr. R.S. Sharma's crazy interview on the TV saying that we are giving it open source, that you can make an app on an app so that you can get an appointment. How bad can it get?
You know, Dr. Neeraj,
Just one point.
yeah, I'll just come back to Dr. Neeraj. I just want to ask you this question. There's a problem over here of mutant. You know, every variant seems to be very different than the previous ones. And even now we are talking about, you know, say for example, the fungal infection, so on and so forth. Now, the vaccination has been made at point 1 after a lot of research. One, is this going to be an ongoing process? Doesn't it have to be an ongoing process? Our researchers, our scientists will have to keep on updating the vaccine. I mean, don't know how we put it, that's one. Second, I'm sure in your experience, you must have been around when our previous vaccination programs were there. I mean, for example, I'm again going back to the polio example. You didn't have this kind of an app system. Do you think an alternative really should have been thought of and should be thought of now?
As you pointed out, this mutation is going on, virus mutation.
Yeah.
But the vaccines have been made till now. They are effective against coronavirus. And whatever mutation is happening, even if you get this vaccine, it will give you a milder variant of the disease itself. So there is no point like you should not get yourself vaccinated. Vaccination has to be done. And these mutations will keep happening. And this will go on for years. You don't know. It may become like just common cold also. But more and more people getting vaccinated, it will reduce the severity of the disease. And also you may come out with mild symptoms and you may not land up into ICU or on ventilator also. So that's my point, like we should, and also we need to look futuristic way. We should try to, as our doctor has pointed out, like we should build up our infrastructure in terms of ICU beds, medicines, oxygen availability, because whatever we have learned now, it should not happen in our third wave.
Absolutely.
In third wave, it is going to be kids, which scientists are speculating to be involved. So we have to be prepared to give vaccination to our younger parents, because once they are vaccinated, they will have that circle of immunity around them, and even they will not be able to transmit the infection to their kids. And even if the kids they get infection, they will be able to take care of them. So vaccination is very important thing, and availability of medicines also, and beds also, especially pediatric ICU beds also should be made available.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dr. Arijit, over here this question comes up is, you know, like for example, America has said that we cannot be completely safe till the other countries don't go in for a mass vaccination program, especially say India, because there are people who are going to be traveling and they could be carrying the virus with them, when at this point of time America says, okay, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. That's one. Second is, we are all talking about third wave. I hope it doesn't come, but the fact is that if you don't increasingly vaccinate, you're above 45 and 18 to 45, then at some point of time, the children are also going to be affected. Don't you think that's a priority which they should start thinking of right now?
Yeah, Pallavi, what you told about America, they have made the rule, if you have taken 2 doses of vaccine, you don't need to mask. Well, fine, it may be good for them, but it will not hold good for India, because the social structure itself is different. In America, everything is spaced out. People love their own space and they also respect other space. But here in India, you know, we are also so much of population and we're so jam-packed. So masks are going to be there and they will be there and needed for the Indian population. That is one. The second part is about the third wave. In the third wave, which all of us are anticipating, we're still in the middle of the second wave. We are anticipating the third wave, and by that time it comes, hopefully the adult population, as per the government's program or the plan, they will most likely would be vaccinated by end of December, above all the population above 18 years. Out of 134 crores of Indian population, if you see 94 crores is above 18 years. So the rest 40 crores, which constitute about 30% of the whole population, is below 18 years. So they remain vulnerable, or they remain susceptible as they are not vaccinated. Of course, the 70% vaccinated will provide a herd immunity, but still these 30% remain vulnerable are susceptible. So we have to think about that. We have to think about those population below 18. And if you see in US, Canada, and few other countries like Australia, Israel, they have already started giving vaccines above 12 years, and their trials are going on from 6 months onwards.
Okay.
So if you look into other vaccines like flu vaccine, it is recommended from 6 months onwards. So we have to quickly ramp up our trials starting from 6 months onwards and quickly vaccinate those target population. Also the pediatric age population, I would say from above 6 months they should be vaccinated, so that everybody remains protected along with the adult population also.
Okay. Dr. Ajay Kumar, first the Congress party raised question marks over the vaccines, and then you justified why people don't want to go in for vaccines. Now suddenly you're pushing for vaccines as a political party. And today I see a tweet from Rahul Gandhi where he says there could be a third wave because your vaccine challenges are not being met. Doesn't that sound a little defeatist? Doesn't that make people who are already hesitant of taking the vaccines believe that yes, maybe they have a point why they shouldn't take this vaccine?
No, Pallavi, there are two different issues. First issue is what he said was the third wave is not what we said. Their chief scientific advisor, Mr. Vijay Raghavan, announced it, and then he also announced that we should be, and it is remarkable that the same government which totally couldn't predict the second wave is now telling there's a third wave and there might be a fourth wave. But Mr. Gandhi's perspective is of any sensible public figure and anybody who's got any idea about public health. He says that if you don't vaccinate the people, the variants of this virus, being a doctor myself, it's simple. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but if you don't vaccinate the larger portion of this country, this virus will remain endemic in certain pockets and continue to mutate. And whether that mutated virus is very virulent or dangerous or not it's impossible to predict. But the fact is that you are risking the whole country because then you have a variant which might even not respond to your vaccination. So again, none of us can know that. The fact is what Mr. Gandhi is raised is very valid. He's saying that please vaccinate the people. Now you tell me with this is a government which has tried to make a cycle from bullock cart parts and from different from trolleys and everything else, and said that the cycle is going to run. Okay. You tell me, state governments, municipal corporations are ordering for doing global tenders.
Mr. Agarwal, you agree with this? Mr. Agarwal, would you want to respond to this?
Pallavi,
okay. Yeah.
30 seconds.
Pallavi, I
the
would
COVID,
like
no,
to
I want Mr. Agarwal, he's a sensible man. I just wanted to answer this COVID app. It's as if we are talking about a higher income India. We are a European nation where everybody's on the internet. Have the BJP forgotten the basic things? The COVID app has actually de-enfranchised 70% of people of this country. And this government doesn't get it. They are so, either they are phenomenally tone deaf, or they just don't care.
Okay. Now,
please fix this. The question to fix this COVID.
I really have to interrupt you here because there's some big news which has just come in, and we really need to go to that news. And this has got to do with the use of plasma therapy as far as the treatment of COVID is concerned. Now, here's this news break which is coming in from my colleague Runjhun Sharma. Remember, the ICMR has been holding discussions on whether plasma therapy makes sense as far as treatment of COVID is concerned. What we are now picking up is that it could be dropped from clinical management protocol, as the ICMR's expert panel has found that the therapy wasn't beneficial in reducing the progression to severe disease or death of COVID patients. That's something we are picking up from by way of our sources. I'm going to get a quick reaction in from the doctors and the medical experts over here. Dr. Neeraj, do you think this is a welcome thing? This is certainly a decision which should have been taken earlier, but nonetheless, it makes sense now?
Yeah, I think earlier also there was ambiguity about plasma therapy, whether to be given or not, whether it is really useful for patients or not. But coming out through this ICMR, it makes more sense, like whatever therapy is really not needed should not be given. It's a clear message. So it should be a welcome move.
Okay. Because we've been seeing, Dr. Ajit, there has been a lot of race as far as plasma is concerned, those desperate cries for help from plasma. There's a dearth of that. Again, plasma donation is an hesitancy. And, the doctors and medical experts have also been warning about, uncontrolled use of plasma or even steroids for that matter. So, do you think, Dr. Arijit, there is a definite scientific strong basis for the ICMR to take this decision?
Well, if you see plasma therapy, like all other therapies, as COVID is a new disease, it evolved, it started. Neither the medical community nor anybody in the world knew what it is and what is the treatment. So different forms of therapy like anticoagulation, like steroids, like remdesivir, like plasma therapy, they all started. So like ivermectin, even if you remember hydroxychloroquine, once it was a big molecule. So everything started. So obviously you need time and you need data. Once the data comes up, then only you can say that what is happening, which is effective, which is not effective. So it was like waiting in the wings that to come out the data about plasma therapy, and which has come out, and ICMR has recommended now to drop it off. Even there is a question mark over ivermectin, that also data, because WHO has already said about questioning the use of ivermectin, and but still in India we are yet to put a yes or no into it. Still it is going in some parts, in some recommendations. So like that, plasma is out of favor. So we need data, we need studies, and so that we can conclude which is acting, which is not acting.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to try and go across to my colleague Runjhun Sharma, who's actually broken this story tonight. But before we get one quick question to you, Dr. Neeraj. There have been certain instances where those who've cured of COVID have also said they have done so and they face a recovery after getting plasma. How does one explain that situation?
Please repeat your question.
I said there have been instances where many people claim that they have got cured because they got plasma. How does one explain that situation, that maybe in some cases the plasma therapy has worked?
It is very difficult to say. As it has been pointed out, we have seen so many therapies, including hydroxychloroquine, plasma therapy, remdesivir, steroids. So we exactly don't know what exactly was curing or helping those patients coming out of those things. It could have been coincidental also, like plasma therapy and patient was recovering on his own. So now the clear message has come through ICMR studies also. It is of no use, and indiscriminate use of this plasma therapy will be stopped, because so much of havoc has been created, and it will help us to move forward with the right treatment therapies to give it to the patient. So I don't think like plasma therapy may have really worked in those cases. It is very difficult to say.
I know. I mean, I think you touched upon the point. This is such a virus which one doesn't even know what may work, what may not work. I'm going to go across to my colleague Runjhun Sharma. She was the one who broke this story tonight. Runjhun, there have been meetings of the ICMR, and finally, what you are picking up and what you are breaking tonight is that this decision has been taken, that there is no benefit of plasma therapy.
What we've been given to understand from our sources in ICMR is that members who met on Friday, Pallavi, they observed that the information and evidence on plasma therapy was not found to be supportive, and therefore what we're given to understand is that plasma therapy could be dropped from the clinical management protocol. As I just said, ICMR experts found that the theory wasn't beneficial in reducing either the severe disease or even death for that matter, which many times the government has reiterated. The guidelines are not out yet. The guidelines are expected to be out sometime early next week, Pallavi. But this is the big news that we're learning from is that ICMR could actually drop plasma therapy from its clinical management protocol.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It's a big story, and it's also good a relief to a lot of people who are scrambling to get that plasma. Thank you very much, Runjhun, for getting us this news break this tonight, and thank you to all my guests, Mr. Gopal Agarwal. Thank you very much, Dr. Ajay Kumar, and of course, thank you very much, Dr. Neeraj and Dr. Arijit as well. So that's it. There's been a news break tonight. Plasma therapy is not going to be beneficial. That's what the ICMR sources are telling our correspondent Runjhun Sharma. But mass vaccination, do go in. Don't be hesitant to take that jab. That's the message tonight. Good night.